Well, here we go. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? Wasn't that great? It's such a neat time of year to be spending with family and friends and just in tune with our gratitude. It's all about being grateful. And a lot of dishes. There's so many pots and pans after the big event, and special pretty glasses and dishes, and there's way more than can fit in the dishwasher, so some of it has to wait until the next morning. I was working on the dishes Friday morning, and I got a phone call, so I got interrupted. And when I came back out to the kitchen, John was finishing washing the last pots and pans. And he was so glad. He was clapping back there. He was so glad that I came out and saw him doing that. And reminded me of a joke. Let's see if I can remember this. If a man does the dishes and his wife's not there to see it, did it really happen? Thank you, John. This morning, my message has two parts. First, about faith, because this is the first Sunday of Advent, and the theme is faith. And also about welcoming. Last Sunday, I told you about the thriving ministry programs that Unity Worldwide Ministries is giving all of Unity Centers. It includes an assortment of ideas, best practices, trainings, studies, books, lots and lots and lots of materials to help us thrive and prosper. There's so much to coordinate and keep track of. It's, a multi-year process that we're moving into. So I wanted somebody who's really passionate about this to head it up. And that person is Sharon Grocott. Yes, isn't that great? Thank you, Sharon. When the board started looking at these materials this summer, she was just so inspired and enthusiastic, and we just knew, you're the one. She's a great organizer. She's very detail-oriented and very motivated to see these ideas work for our center. And I know she will help keep all of us and the various components on track, and she will empower us to step up, use our skills and abilities and education and whatever gifts that we can share in the ways that we need here. So as we begin with Thriving Unity, one of the very first things is looking at our welcoming system. How we greet visitors, how we show up for them in the weeks to follow their initial visit, the information we provide, how we do things to create an atmosphere of love and acceptance for all. So today is Friendship Sunday, and after our potluck lunch, there's a meeting called the Welcoming System Group Meeting. Kind of an orientation and an exchange of information, gathering some of your ideas and input too. So ushers, greeters, board members, prayer chaplains, and all of you are invited to come to that meeting if you're inspired to do it. Because as Elle said before, we are the welcoming system, all of us. We are all part of that. Sharon and Elle Allen will be leading that meeting. I'll be there for a while too. I hope you will join us. But eat lunch first. William Butler Yeats once said, "There are no strangers here, only friends you haven't met yet." So if that's true, how do strangers become friends? How can we make sure that visitors become our friends in this community? Did you know that visitors decide if they will return within the first 8 to 10 minutes of walking in the door? So what do you think that's about? It's about first impression, isn't it? About being greeted when you arrive, being shown where to take your kids, where to hang up your coat. Those first 10 minutes might not even include any time in here. Or if it does, it might be just the prelude music or the opening prayer. We probably believe that we're a welcoming community. We are Unity, after all, In Rick Warren's book, A Purpose-Driven Church, he points out that Just because the church is a loving community doesn't necessarily mean it's a welcoming community. The love may be focused inward to people that we already know, and that makes it seem like a closed circle for anybody who's new to our community. For instance, now one of the things we do, and this might not make me very popular, so I'm prepared. One of the things we do in our service is greeting those around us. It's meant to be a short time of seeing the divinity in other people, of blessing one another. And it often becomes something pretty different than that. Some of us can get into really lengthy conversations. We might be focused on just talking with one person, and it excludes new people, excludes a lot of people maybe, from seeing the Christ in each other and shaking hands with those around you. You know, there's plenty of time to have conversations and get in depth after the service or even before the service. So I would like to see us be more mindful in that greeting time, to include people that are in your vicinity and make sure that if there's somebody you don't know, to greet and bless them. Unity Worldwide Ministries conducted a study that showed less than 10% of the people who visit Unity Center stay and become part of the community. Yeah, that means we have a very brief opportunity to connect with visitors. We are a friendly and loving community, no doubt. You just feel it when you walk in the doors here. But sometimes I think we need just a little more intention about shining that love and light on people that we don't know so well. Here's a story about walking your talk, and this was shared on a website called lightworkers.com. There's this college student named Bill, and Bill has wild hair. I could imagine some wild hair that I've seen, and wears a holy t-shirt and jeans that are frayed and patched and barefoot, right? That's his wardrobe. That's his school uniform. I dressed like that in college. So he looks like that every day. And he's a brilliant guy, very intelligent, very well-read, and insightful. And across from the college campus, there's a church, kind of a conservative Christian church. And they want to grow and develop a ministry for the college students, to bring them in. So sometimes they put "Welcome college students" up on their LED sign. And Bill has seen that sign a few times. So one Sunday he decides to go. And he walks in with no shoes, dressed in his t-shirt and jeans, and wild hair as usual. He's late, so the service has already started. And he walks down the center aisle. The church is packed that morning, so he's looking for a seat, and he keeps looking and he keeps walking until he's finally down in the front, and he realizes there's no empty seat. So he sits on the floor right in front of the minister. Now the people in the congregation start to feel maybe a little uncomfortable, maybe going into a little judgment about his appearance. And there's a little murmuring and discussion about what's going on, a little tension in the air. And then one of the ushers from the back of the sanctuary stands up and starts to slowly make his way forward. And this usher, this man is in his 80s, very dignified man who wears a suit and tie to church every Sunday, and he's well known and well respected by the community. And as they see him coming up to approach Bill, they're all heave a sigh of relief, because now they know he'll do what needs to be doing or done, and he'll take care of the situation. It takes him a while to get to the front because he's walking with a cane, and when he reaches Bill, he just lets his cane drop, and to their shock, he struggles to sit down right next to Bill on the floor, because he doesn't want Bill to sit alone. The minister finally speaks and says, "What I'm about to preach, you'll never remember, but what you just saw, you'll never forget." You know, it's human nature to want to be comfortable, to stay where it feels good, surrounded with people that we know very well, that think like us, that dress like us, that agree with our ideas, people who are familiar, people who like us and accept us. But to allow someone new in our lives, that requires a stretch, doesn't it? And you may have to go through some discomfort. Jim Morrison from The Doors sang a song that you may know, "People Are Strange When You're a Stranger." Yeah, people we don't know seem kind of strange or different, unknown, unpredictable. It's an unknown. So in order to make someone feel welcome, to invite them into our community and into our lives, we may have to experience some discomfort. We might have to give up our favorite seat in the sanctuary or our favorite parking spot in the parking lot. We might have to learn how to talk to strangers. We might have to or want to help someone find a classroom or let them go ahead of us in the potluck line. Really? We have a shared purpose here at Unity of the Valley. We are here to transform lives through teaching and practicing spiritual principles. We're here to deepen our spiritual life, to know and connect with that one power and the one presence. And we can't deepen our experience, spiritual experience, if we close ourselves off to the unknown. Expansiveness is the very nature of spirit. We have this awareness of oneness that includes and connects and unites everyone on this planet, this spaceship Earth. We're all in a relationship with one another. So to find and create connecting points where we can meet and truly see each other. Do you remember the movie Avatar, where the natives would greet one another, where they'd look in their face and say, I see you. I see you. So what's important? Staying comfortable and safe, or experiencing expansion and loving and this uniting presence that we call God? I hope you choose the expansive view, right? Together, let's set this intention as individuals and as a community. We will be present, loving, and accepting to all people here at Unity, whether we've known them for years, weeks, or just met. Mother Teresa said the following. This is beautiful. I never look at the masses as my responsibility. I look at the individual. I can only love one person at a time, just one, just one, just one. You get closer to Christ by becoming closer to one another. Jesus said, whatever you do to the least of my brethren, you do to me. So you begin. I began. I picked up one person. Maybe if I didn't pick up that one person, I wouldn't have picked up 42,000. I get goosebumps. The same thing goes for you. The same thing in your family. The same thing in your church, in your community. Just begin. One, one, one. One person at a time, we know God. One person at a time, we grow. This is an invitation to you to know Spirit in a deeper way, to reach out to others with kindness, love, and compassion. Remember our affirmation this morning, how we started? I am never alone. I step out in faith and expect only good. We are never alone. So to move on with that, there's a saying, fake it till you make it. I've heard this so many times. Have you heard that? Yeah. Probably said it a few times too, but a better way to put it is faith it till you make it. Because being fake is not something we want to do or be, is it? We want to be authentic. We want to live from our origin, from that pure divine light within us. We have skills, we have abilities, we have education and talents and motivation to do well. And we will do well at whatever we put our minds to. There's nothing fake about it. Faith is based on knowing something, knowing truth. So what is the truth of us? Each of us is a beloved child of God. Right? Faith is also one of the 12 powers described by Charles Fillmore. It's defined as the ability to believe, perceive, hear, intuit, to have a conviction despite all the outer appearances. There's an Indian philosopher, his name is Rabindranath Tagore. Can you say that? No. But his quote is absolutely beautiful. Faith is the bird that feels the dawn and sings before the first light. Faith is the bird that feels the dawn and sings before first light. A few months ago, John and I went to a Guthrie performance. It was a Chinese fable called The White Snake. And the story and the customs and costumes, it was phenomenal, really cool. And several times in the story, the leading male character was experiencing some doubts and fears. And when he would begin to fret and worry about something, another actor would come up behind him, and this actor had on long, gnarly fingers, maybe 12 inches long. They kind of looked like twigs, and he'd slap him on the back of this character. And whoops, they'd make a slapping sound, and they were the fingers of doubt. Ooh, that's what it looks like. How can we move away from the fingers of doubt into a place of faith? How can we come to a place of believing and perceiving and hearing and intuiting? And you know the answer in the silence, right? We practice by stilling ourselves in prayer and meditation. And it's there that we touch the origin of our being, that Christ light and love that lives within us. Divine wisdom, love, all those qualities we come in touch with when we still ourselves enough to feel that presence. The word Advent comes from a Latin word, and it means to come. An angel visits, the Advent is this time of waiting and in anticipation for the coming of the birth of Christ. In the Christmas story, a central figure is Mary, the mother of Jesus. And an angel visits Mary and tells her she's with child. I bet she had some worries and fears, some doubts, fingers of doubts. She probably had some concerns and questions, just the way you and I do, about the events and circumstances that show up in our lives. And yet Mary didn't let that unknown stop her from moving forward in faith. She waited for the birth to come and kept her heart open to love. Faith. So here's something practical. We call this practical Christianity. So something practical that you can do to practice your faith. And maybe some of you already do this or have seen this, a God box or a God can, where you can write out some of your concerns or frets or worries on a little piece of paper and then turn them over. It's a let go and let God situation. You've done what you can in the physical realm, and now you turn this issue over to the spiritual dimension, to the absolute. So if you don't want to make yourself a cute little box, you can always stick something like that into your Bible and then just forget about it. Let it go. It's like bread dough that, after you've kneaded it and then you set it out and just let it be still so that it can rise. If you keep going back, it'll never rise if you keep stirring it or punching it. So just let it be. And you'll forget about it. And over a course of time, it will transform. And these concerns and issues won't be concerns anymore. The other day, I saw a wall hanging. It was really cute. It said, "Don't worry about tomorrow. God is already there." So let the fingers of doubt fall away from you. Don't give power to doubt and fear. Choose faith. Choose faith. So faith it, and you will make it. the divine light in me recognizes, honors, and blesses the divine light in you. Namaste.